Hello, everyone, and many thanks for joining today's stream. Big community chatter, as it is always on Sundays, and fundraising stream, as it is also kind of tradition. And of course, dear friends, I have prepared new segment for you. I will go through news first, and then I will join community chatter. In case you want to discuss any topic, you can highlight your question or the commentary through super chat feature on Rumble, or you can send your comment or question through PayPal or Boosty platforms. Links are under this video in description box and in the pinned commenter. And if none of these options are feasible for you, then you can just use capital letters and that will make it easier to spot your commentary. Right now, I dropped in a chatter on YouTube, link to my Rumble channel. In case you have an account on Rumble, please subscribe, will be very helpful. And also you can use these support features that is there on Rumble, because my channel is monetized on Rumble. Okay, that's been said, dear friends. Of course, today is the 31st of May, 3 p.m. Moscow time, middle of the day. And as always, I have prepared quite a number of news on some major developments. And I hope you will find the news segment interesting and useful, informative. And in that case, if you can, like the video, leave some commentary, share information about existence of my channel with your friends that might have interest in news from Russia and from pro-Russian, as I understand it, perspective. That's been said, because it is traditionally on Sundays fundraising stream. Usually, I mean, since I began making these Sunday community chats and fundraisings, task is to reach $200. Only worked like 3 times, I believe, when we were successful in that. But nevertheless, of course, many thanks to everybody who supported and continues to support her. And well, we have a first donation for a day. I believe from Scooby, by the way, active member of our community on Rumble, and this is the super chatter or commentary question from Scooby. My apologies if I'm mistaken, but I think this is coming from Scooby. Thank you very much for $15 donation through PayPal. And their question is, should I read the Routledge Handbook of Russian International Relations Studies to learn Russian perspective on international relations? Well, will be helpful in some ways, but everyone should take with a grain of salt any studies that are coming from United Kingdom, because Russia hatred in United Kingdom is not something new. It stands for many centuries now, and therefore their prospect on history of anything in relations to Russia, including international affairs, is corrupted by this Russia hate. So therefore, I would not trust anything that comes out from UK when it comes to any study, really. And that will be my recommendation. It might be helpful because they can only lie so much, right? When it comes to factual dates, some documents, at least every now and then they have to use something, right? So in this regard, it might be helpful, but honestly, I would not waste time on anything that comes out from British so-called elites and whatever garbage they are publishing, man. That's my personal opinion, personal take on that. Yet again, because of their bias. For centuries, British ruling class is infamous with its Russia hate. And therefore, by the way, of course, I cannot say that they are humanly capable elites in the UK. I don't think they are humanly capable of being objective in anything when it comes to Russian Federation or Soviet Union, for that matter, before, right? And then before Soviet Union, Russian Empire. So that's my take on that. Of course, you should take my opinion also with a grain of salt, because my attitude towards Western elites also is quite known, right? I don't have any respect towards Western elites, first and foremost towards British ruling class, obviously, right? So that's what I will say. Thank you very much, Scooby, for your $15 donation. And my apologies if it's not Scooby, but I believe it, this donation is coming from Scooby. So that's how I will react on that. Can be helpful, partially at least, right? But I would not take it too seriously because of the bias that is coming from Western ruling class that are influencing basically everything. That's been said, dear friends. Let's go through some news now. And traditionally, I will start with the reports about work of Russian air defense forces. Past night, Defense Ministry shared with the public update on that. And according to reports in RIA Novosti, for example, news agency, 216 drones were intercepted by Russian air defense past night over the Belgorod, Bryansk, Volgograd, Voronezh, Kursk, Lipetsk, Oryol, Rostov, Saratov regions, over the Krasnodar Krai, Crimea, and the Sea of Azov. Large-scale, long-range attack on Russian Federation conducted by NATO member states and their proxy Kiev regime. Unfortunately, there are casualties among civilians as a result of this yet another large-scale attack on Russian Federation orchestrated by Western ruling class. We have this report that bus was targeted, civilian bus, by the way, with the passengers in the Kherson region by Ukrainian/Western terrorists. Ukrainian drone attacked the bus in the Kherson region. Vladimir Vasilenko, the regional governor's press secretary, told RIA Novosti this morning in Skadovsk municipal district on the Skadovsk-Lazurny highway, enemy drone targeted scheduled bus. Woman, civilian, was wounded as a result of this attack. Also, when it comes to this Western orchestrated attacks on the Russian Federation, we have a report that in the Rostov region near the Matveyev-Kurgan settlement, an oil depot caught fire as a result of this Ukrainian/NATO drone attack. At the present, the area of the fire is about 3,600 square meters. Among other things, 17 residential buildings, 3 stores and pharmacy was also damaged. The state of emergency has been declared in the settlement. This was reported by the head of the Matveyevo-Kurgan district, Dina Alborova. So there is an emergency situation due to this Ukrainian/NATO attack on yet another energy infrastructure in the Rostov region. And there, as you can see, 17 residential buildings were damaged, 3 stores, pharmacy was targeted. So it's all-out assault on Russian civilians, basically. That's what Western ruling class is doing, and their proxies. And dear friends, I have reported quite a few times before that number of these long-range drones that formerly Kiev regime is receiving from European NATO member states is in thousands and thousands on weekly basis, and therefore Kiev regime and its NATO backers are capable of launching a tremendous number of these drones on every, each 24-hour period. And as a result of this increased volume of drones, unfortunately, Kiev regime and its NATO backers managed to establish some sort of a fire control over their land bridge that connects mainland Russia with Crimea. And these Ukrainian drone operators and their NATO backers, they don't care what they are targeting. They are going after anything and everything, right? If they cannot find and target military target, they are going after civilian infrastructure, civilian targets, and the civilians. And therefore, unfortunately, emergency situation is being developing now for quite some time in the Zaporozhye region, in the Kherson region, and also in the Crimea, because this land bridge obviously was used to supply people in these regions with basically all the basics, right, from food to fuel. And on this matter, we have this report that restrictions on the sale of AI 95 and AI 92 gasoline have been introduced in Crimea. The head of the region, Sergei Aksionov, stated that from May 31st, from today, AI 95 will be sold on a priority basis for communal and social transport, as well as with coupons without volume restrictions at AN and TES network gas stations. This fuel brand will be sold exclusively with coupons. The sale of AI 92 gasoline is limited to 20 liters per vehicle due to limited reserves, and refueling into canisters is prohibited. So you have to fuel your tanker in the car, and that's it. According to authorities, the situation should remain within, should normalize within the 30 days. And maybe situation will normalize within the 30 days, or maybe not, because yet again, so much drones being transferred on a controlled territory from European NATO member states that they are capable of keeping dozens of drones simultaneously over this land bridge. They are targeting obviously deep into Russian territory with hundreds upon hundreds of drones on daily basis, and also they are keeping dozens of drones, looks like, over this long land bridge, and they are targeting everything and everybody, right? And unfortunately, there are so many videos out there now with destroyed civilian vehicles. They are targeting, as I said, if they see military vehicle, they are going after military vehicles, but if they don't track military vehicle, they will go after anything they see. That includes civilians, and therefore it is understandable that civilian drivers, by the way, that have small business, maybe they have this fuel truck, for example, or other type of truck, and if they were engaged in transporting goods from mainland Russia to Zaporozhye region, Kherson region, Crimea, it is understandable that some of those drivers, after they see dozens of vehicles being attacked on this land bridge, they will probably take more cautious approach, and they might refuse to go on this route, right? Of course, we will probably see in upcoming days and weeks a significant increase of traffic to Crimea bridge, railway, and road bridges. And that means probably in upcoming days and weeks, Kiev regime and their NATO backers will try to go after Crimean bridge too, with the long-range attacks. We will see, of course, as officials already are making statements on this matter, some steps being implemented. Of course, that means that Kremlin is informed about the situation, and I guess some countermeasures will be taken to make sure that situation is actually normalized. Although, dear friends, when it comes to countermeasures, what you're gonna do? Question is, how we can stop these hundreds and hundreds of thousands, actually, of drones to be launched on weekly basis for strikes deep into Russian territory. Only way you can influence the situation is to take action against NATO member states that are transferring these drones and then are providing satellite intelligence, flight path targeting data for these drones, right? And unfortunately, a few days ago, during the press conference in Astana, Kazakhstan, Russian president stated that Moscow never had and does not have plans to take any actions against European states. That's what Russian president said. And if this is the case, if there is no plans to take action against these European NATO member states, for example, that are directly involved in this war against Russia, this undeclared war against Russia that our entire collective West practically is engaged in, then I'm afraid build up of air defense systems alone would not be enough to resolve the issues that we are facing, we as a country and society, because yet again, these aircraft type drones cost much less, much less than air defense missile. And I'm not sure Russian military industrial complex, which is very capable, yes, but I'm not sure Russian military industrial complex can produce as much interceptor missiles, for example, as European NATO member states, for example, are capable of building these relatively cheap aircraft type drones. Only way we can deal with situation, objectively speaking, is to take action against these European NATO member states. But the Russian president said, we were never a threat, and we're not going to be ever a threat. We were never a threat, yes, but right now situation has changed. These European NATO member states are killing our people, and for president to say we have no plans to do anything against Europe, that's quite outrageous, in my personal opinion, right? In my personal opinion, but yet again, it's up to Russian president what he will authorize and what he will not. So therefore, unfortunately, I have to say that I'm a bit skeptical that despite statement of local authorities in the Crimea, situation with their supplies of goods, including fuel, will be resolved in next 30 days time. Let's be real about it, man, right? We have to be real about everything always, right? And how are you gonna deal, man? Europe is sending like probably couple of thousand drones every other day. So, and they have no intention to stop manufacturing these drones. They have no intention to stop providing satellite intelligence or flight path targeting data for these drones. So, what we gonna do in this situation? Air defense, build up of air defenses will not work. Russia is too big. Even Israel cannot protect itself 100% at the time. It's a tiny, right? And even Israel struggles to deal with these aerial targets. So I don't think it is feasible, actually, or doable to actually create an umbrella over the European part of Russia, or even over the Crimea that will intercept, or the land bridge between Crimea and mainland Russia that will intercept 100% of incoming targets. This is just technically, physically impossible. That's why I was always laughing when US President Trump or anyone else from US administration was saying that they're going to create a golden dome over the US and protect everything. Not possible. Just not possible. Period. So situation is escalating. Situation is escalating, and unfortunately, these long-range attacks on the Russian Federation are intensifying. And at this point, according to some sources, no energy infrastructure is being left on the European part of Russia that have not been hit either once or, in some cases, on numerous times. And eventually, I think it's not going to be just Zaporozhye or Kherson region or Crimea. Eventually, entire central part of Europe probably will face some shortages of certain goods, including fuel. And I mean, if Russian president is saying that we have no plans to do anything about these European NATO member states that are killing our citizens, then, well, too bad, man, too bad. And it's not just the direct drone strikes on Russian civilians, by the way, that NATO and key regime, NATO countries and key regime is engaged in. They are mining roads. They are mining highways. They are mining side roads, country roads, basically. And already numerous photo and video materials are emerging on internet when people are finding mines dropped from the drones by Ukrainian and their Western terrorists, right? And unfortunately, people already have been harmed as a result of this. People already been injured, and of course, this mining of their territory from air will definitely become additional problem that locals in European part of Russian Federation and their Russian militaries and security services will have to deal. There is nothing, no crime that Western ruling class will not authorize. There is no crime that they would not sign up for when it comes to harming Russian people and the Russian Federation. And they are now dropping drones, by the way, anti-personnel drones all over their, not just highways, but also side roads, country roads. And only God knows how many people will be killed or injured as a result of this terrorist activity of their enemy. Well, yeah, situation is getting bad, man. And I have major breaking news, I will say, which is that for the first time, Ukrainian armed forces and their NATO backers have deliberately targeted the main equipment of the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. If before this attack, Zaporozhye nuclear power plant was targeted, but Kiev regime and its NATO backers were avoiding to strike on the reactor itself, well, they are going full in now to create nuclear disaster. So report is that Ukrainian militants have intentionally targeted the main equipment of the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. For the first time, Rosatom CEO Alexei Likhachov reported. Report is from yesterday, by the way. So yesterday afternoon, Ukrainian drones struck a building of a power unit number 6, building where nuclear reactor is located. And this drone exploded during the attack. We can congratulate, so to speak, the entire international community. This is the first targeted attack on the nuclear power plant's main equipment, with their true explosion and damage to their turbine building. As a result, a hole was created in the wall, Likhachov said. He emphasized that the drone was controlled via fiber optics, which completely rules out the possibility of accidental hit. It seems many aren't many aren't taking attacks on nuclear power plants seriously. Many are not taking attacks on nuclear power plants seriously. But today we are one step closer to an incident that will likely affect even those living far outside Russia and Ukraine, who still think they are completely safe. Noted Rosatom CEO. And I said, man, only language Western ruling class understands is the language of force. And at this, and I was from the very first day for tough measures, right, against the European NATO member states, against NATO member states, including US, by the way, right. I was always for retaliation on these NATO member states, even if that will mean nuclear faking exchange. I don't give a fuck, man. They kill our people, we have to kill their people. That's how it is, right? That's how it's supposed to be. Anyways, I'm talking about legit targets, obviously, right? I will never advocate for targeting civilians, never. But legit targets should be eliminated, obviously. But Russian leadership had a different attitude, different approach. They are exercising restraint for a 5th year now. And as a result, situation is only deteriorating, man. Situation is only deteriorating. Nuclear blackmail is becoming like daily part of daily life now, right? And God knows, any given point, these genocidal maniacs that are running the Western world might greenlight large-scale attack on not just Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, but all the other nuclear power plants that Russia has in European part of the country. And what we're gonna do about it? Question is, right? How are we gonna deter this from happening? They already tried to attack, right? Other Russian nuclear power plants too. So it's insanity, man. What is happening is freaking insanity. And I was so disappointed when I listened to their press conference, by the way, especially. of Russian president, right? Because when I read about it, I was just too upset. I was thinking, I mean, really, man, you are still talking about that we not gonna do nothing? And yes, that's what he said, that Russia had no plans in the past. Okay, I will agree with that. We have never had the plans to attack Europe. But now, to say that we have no plans to take any retaliatory action, really? Are we going to allow European elites and their proxies to kill our people just like that? And be engaged in nuclear blackmail and God knows what other crimes? This is insane. This is just freaking insane, man. What can I say? And at this point, I'm not sure there is any point to pay any attention to freaking statements from Russian former or current officials, strong statements. Dmitry Medvedev, once again, after attack, this direct hit on a building where nuclear reactor is located in Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, come up with some strong words, but does it mean really? Should I read these statements of Medvedev? I'm not quite sure about it. It's worth our time. I don't know, man. I don't know too much. It does not worth our time. Let's be real here. I'm just saying that Medvedev yet again made some strong statements, right? If anybody cares, especially in the West, among Western elites. And also, if you think that was a one-off attack on nuclear power plant, no, man. This Zaporozhye nuclear power plant is constantly under attacks. A few days ago, I reported that Energodar city, where this nuclear power plant is located on the outskirts, was targeted there. There was a biggest attack on Energodar, and there was about 50 explosions, right? And now, this morning, by the way, we had also a report that Kyiv continues to attack this Europe's biggest nuclear power plant, Zaporozhye NPP. This time, they targeted the garage and the service vehicles that are working for this nuclear power plant. Thankfully, no casualties, but 6 buses and 2 vans damaged beyond repair at the Zaporozhye NPP, according to official report. Yeah, man, that's just too bad. Too bad, right? IAEA was invited to go to Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. IAEA experts are there anyways, right? But additional specialists from IAEA will have access to the site of the Ukrainian Armed Forces strike. And okay, what they're gonna say? Every time Zaporozhye nuclear power plant is attacked, IAEA so-called experts are calling for de-escalation, calling for ceasefire in IAEA area, in Zaporozhye nuclear power plant area, and they're never pointed out, they're never highlighted that it's a Kyiv regime that is engaged in this nuclear blackmail, and nothing different gonna happen this time around. These IAEA experts will go there, they will see all the damage, right? And they will make some statements that this is extremely dangerous and this and that, and they will never ever say that this is a Kyiv regime that is engaged in a nuclear terrorism. That's how bad this so-called UN body is. And by the way, some people might think IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, is a branch of CIA or US CIA or British MI6 secret services or Israeli Mossad secret service. No, officially, at least officially, IAEA is a UN body. It's a United Nations body. But it does not work as such. All it does is obeys orders from Langley, MI6, and Mossad. That's all they do, man. But every now and then there is this kind of report that, well, IAEA experts will be allowed to go there. Okay, and so what? What they gonna say? It's too bad, man. What can I mean, it's just too freaking bad. Situation is getting worse and worse and worse because of the lack of decisive actions from because lack of green light from Russian president, actually, green light to Russian security services and militaries to take necessary actions to deter the enemy, right? And until we are waiting for that green light, more and more our people being killed, more and more infrastructure is being damaged. It's crazy what's happening. And when it comes to these long-range attacks on Russian Federation, well, globalist controlled regimes, first and foremost, British secret services, British militaries, they try to adapt. They try to adapt to the situation on the battlefield. They are quite fast in decision-making process, and they are beginning to deploy large quantities of civilian trucks that are carrying long-range drones. And well, right now on your screen you can see one of such instances. I published this. I see this information on DD Geopolitics, by the way, channel. You can check there. They are deploying these 40-foot trucks, civilian, disguised as a civilian trucker. There is drone launchers and the drones on the board, right? They are moving in certain position, launching these drones, and they're hiding away. This is a war crime, by the way. To disguise our military equipment as a civilian equipment is a war crime. But yet again, when we are talking about globalists, Western ruling class, British ruling class, that is a major force in the globalist movement. When you are talking about British Secret Service and British militaries, I mean, war crimes are only thing they know, right? And they don't care. They never cared about committing war crimes, right? Never, historically speaking, man. These are genocidal freaking maniacs. And no wonder they come up with this new idea to disguise trucks as a civilian and launch these drones. And by the way, one of the reasons why every now and then Russian militaries are taking actions against the so-called Ukraine Postal Service, their warehouses, is exactly because of these war crimes that this institution is engaged in. It is against the law of war to disguise military equipment as civilians. Even militaries, by the way, they cannot disguise themselves as civilians while being engaged in hostility. That's a war crime too. And there was reports, by the way, that Russian militaries retaliated on this Ukrainska Pochta, this Ukrainian postal service in Dnipropetrovsk. One of the warehouses were destroyed, a number of trucks. But of course, I mean, if globalist control regimes in Europe can send thousands and thousands of drones on literally weekly basis to kill control territory to then strike Russian Federation, of course they can provide Kyiv regime with the freaking trucks too, right? No matter how many trucks you destroy, they will get some more from Europe. So only real ways to deal with this situation now, objectively speaking, is to take action against European NATO member states. And I'm not saying we should necessarily take action with the kinetic strike on US, but we have to do something with US too, in terms of retaliation, right? But direct confrontation, kinetic war between Russia and US will mean extinction level event, right? So unfortunately, we cannot do with US, we cannot deal with them same way we can deal with the Europeans, but at least we should do something with the European NATO member states, right? To deter them from this terrorist activity against the Russian Federation. Because there is no other option, by the way. There is no freaking other option. The situation is so bad now that only way we can deal with these threats that are generated from by globalists is to take war to their territory. That's the only option we have. And when it comes to this option, then you might have a question: it's going to be kinetic, it's going to be nuclear strikes, or it's going to be strikes with conventional weaponry? And I think We are in a position to take action with conventional weaponry, but if necessary, let's fucking nuke them too, man. Right? We have to restore deterrent one way or another. So if conventional means would not work, then nukes too should be option. If I was Russian president, I know what I would do, obviously, or if someone like me was a Russian president. But yeah, I mean, Putin, he's in a different world, man. He is in a freaking different world. He sees things very differently. In Astana, he was asked again what he meant when he said that the war in Ukraine is coming to its end. And he repeated, he was asked, I mean, maybe he can specify what he meant when he said that, resolution of this crisis, let's say, is close. And he did not say anything specific, but he repeated himself that, yes, I mean, based on objective data, we are getting closer to final resolution of the crisis. I don't know, man. Is he informed really? I'm not sure he has good information, man, or objective information about developments, because these kind of statements makes no freaking sense. Honestly, man. These kind of statements makes no freaking sense. Of course, if he plans to agree on a ceasefire and freezing the conflict right now on the current line of contact, maybe that's what he means, right? In that case, okay, he can freeze the conflict. He is a president, right? But society here in Russia are gonna be, very much unhappy about it. Anyways, it's too freaking bad situation. Also, when it comes to use of Ukrainskaya Pochta, by the way, there is a lot of evidences on internet when Ukrainian Pochta warehouses were used for weapons transfer and so on. And DD Geopolitics also shared this poster from Richard Woodruff, pro-Ukrainian Nazi, who basically posted on his page on Twitter X, that is, I guess, that they were transferring FPV drones through Ukrainska Pochta, for example, service. So it's a legit target, and there are also difference. Also, I have said previously, when this tragedy happened in Starobilsk in LPR, when NATO member states orchestrated the attack together with their Ukrainian proxies on a college, which killed 21 civilians, majority teenagers, by the way, majority students. I said straight away that most definitely this was an attack orchestrated with assistance or with involvement of Palantir, Starlink company of US, and the Palantir company of US. And we have more and more confirmations that this is exactly the case. There was a clip, by the way, report on CNN when they were talking about these drone attacks on the Russian Federation, long-range drone attacks on Russia, and in a screen, in the frames, you can see these programs, by the way, that was used there to orchestrate these long-range drone attacks, and the experts straight away recognized Palantir platform. Experts straight away recognized Palantir AI platform that is used for this purpose. And that's why I'm saying that, yet again, no one is asking my opinion, but I think it will make all the sense if Russian president or Russian security services or investigative committee will designate Palantir and all Palantir staff, and also Starlink and all Starlink staff to be terrorists. Companies should be designated as a terrorist organizations, and their members should be designated as terrorists and should be put on wanted lists, right? If I was Russian president, I would authorize extermination of these terrorists, literal extermination of these terrorists that are guilty of death of thousands of Russian citizens, right? And it will make sense, man. These are terrorist organizations, right? Elon Musk is a terrorist. He is the head of Starlink, right? Starlink is used to kill Russian civilians. That's it, period. So therefore, Elon Musk should be designated as terrorist and they're neutralized. 100%. Same goes for Palantir. And everybody that works in this terrorist organization should be exterminated. Period, man. Without mercy. Without mercy. That's how you deter the enemy from messing around. You exterminate enemy. But unfortunately, Russian leadership has different takes. Russian leadership is too kind, right? Too kind. The Russian president has a very kind heart, and he's still talking about. I mean, would not be surprised if tomorrow he will make statements again, and they will say our Western partners, our Western friends, and that kind of. I mean, for a very long time, Putin was still using this kind of language, our Western partners, and I was thinking, what are you talking about? Who is your partner? These criminals that are killing our citizens? That's who you're referring to as a partners? Seriously, man? What the hell, man? Don't say nothing, but don't call these motherfucking animals a partners. Anyways, man. Anyways. Meanwhile, special military operation continues, and we have reports that yet another German and British mercenaries, or maybe special forces members disguised as mercenaries, were neutralized on the battlefield, and also American one. Give you details on that. A group of mercenaries from Germany and Great Britain fighting for the Ukrainian armed forces were killed in their forest belt on their front line in the Zaporozhye region. Russian security forces told us that documents found on their dead indicate their affiliation. Group of foreign mercenaries were killed in the forest belt in the Zaporozhye region. According to documents, they were German and British, according to security forces, secret services of the Russian Federation that share information with the TASS news agency. Among these neutralized foreign mercenaries, as specified by security forces, are Jason Largan, JC, born in 2003, and Latterman Philippe Maximilian, born in 2000, according to security forces. Some of their dead were soldiers from their 113th Separate Territorial Defense Brigade of Ukraine and their Separate Special Forces Battalion. However, all of them were assigned to 3rd Assault Battalion of Skala Regiment. So more terrorists from the Western countries being neutralized on the battlefield. And also, we have reports that on May 26, U.S. citizen Karsten Trevor, disguised as a mercenary, Karsten Trevor Greenchurch, was eliminated by FPV drone in their Dobropolsk direction. Former Marine, he arrived in Ukraine at the beginning of this year and joined the 12th Operational Assignment Brigade Azov. He joined the Ukrainian Nazi Azov formation, by the way, where he had his comrades get into firefighter and did not survive, just like many of his foreign comrades. So good news there. Human scum from UK, Germany, and US were exterminated there, neutralized on the battlefield there. Good. Hopefully we will kill them all, man. All those foreign mercenaries that are fighting against Russian people on behalf of Ukrainian Nazis and the fascists. Hopefully we will hunt down every single one of them and send them to Bandera. RT is also reporting. Let's go through some other topics now. And RT is reporting that US fighter jets fired a missile at Iranian bound cargo ship. So U.S. aircraft fired a missile at the cargo ship in the Gulf of Oman while enforcing the blockade of Iran. U.S. Central Command has stated. Also, we have a report that U.S. servicemen were injured. Probably already hear about this reporter. U.S. servicemen were injured in Iranian retaliatory strike on Kuwaiti military base. So around 5 U.S. servicemen and the contractors suffered their minor injuries during the recent Iranian ballistic missile strike on Kuwaiti air base. Bloomberg reports, citing a source, at least one MQ-9 Reaper drone was reportedly destroyed. And this Iranian retaliation is coming after U.S. militaries opened fire on Iranians. So, nowadays there is a tit for tat exchange of fire. Formally, ceasefire is still in place, but practically on daily basis, Americans, their Israeli allies, UAE assets are opening fire on Iranian side, and Iran is retaliating. And at least number of U.S. servicemen were wounded. Maybe casualty numbers are actually high. Maybe some were killed. Pentagon is not sharing, obviously, objective data on this matter, but Iran demonstrated that they don't care. Iranian leadership clearly is not messing around. They are greenlighting Iran's military and security services to take whatever actions are necessary to deter enemy. That's what we should do too. We should learn from Iranians, man, how one can deal with enemies, right? And how one can deter enemies. We should learn quite a lot from Iranian leadership, actually, in this matter. Yet again, Russian president should learn, because Russian military know perfectly well what needs to be done. Russian security services know perfectly well what needs to be done, right? After all, I mean, okay, man, you know what my take is. Probably you all are on the same page. You all probably will agree with me that with the strikes on Kiev controlled territory, we're not going to restore no freaking deterrent with NATO, right? NATO member states. It's just not possible. They would not care, man, even slightest. Only way Western ruling class will actually think about their next steps is if we are bringing the war from our territory to their territory. And when they will feel heat and pain, that's where they might start actually realizing something. Other than that, it does not matter how many times we will take retaliatory strikes on the Kiev-controlled territory. It literally does not matter. It will freaking change nothing in mindset of the globalists, neocons, and their freaking proxies, isn't it? Also, RT reported that U.S. blockade of Iranian ports still in force despite Trump's True Social post, in which he basically stated earlier that ships caught in the strait due to our amazing and unprecedented naval blockade, which will now be lifted, may start the process of heading home. So Trump stated in his True Social that blockade gonna be lifted, but few hours after the statement of Trump, U.S. military opened fire on vessel that was linked to Iran. So who is in charge, man, in U.S.? Who is in charge? Of course, maybe Trump just lied there. Probably he did lie, right? But either way, it's a good question, I think, to know who is actually in charge, who is calling the shots in Washington. Is it truly Trump or who? Israelis, globalists, neocons? Who is in charge, man? Because this is not normal. When president of their nuclear freaking superpower says blockade is lifted, and few hours after, militaries of this very same country are opening fire on a civilian vessel, justifying their actions with the blockade. What the hell? But, I said many times before, globalists, neocons, and their Zionist allies will use whatever leverage they have over the White House and over the Washington, generally speaking, to continue war in the Middle East, because their main goal of the Western ruling class is to isolate Middle Eastern region from the rest of the world, from global economy for as long as possible and as much as possible, right? And unfortunately, as of now, even though they failed militarily, at least for this moment, even though they failed militarily to collapse, destroy completely Iran, to force, to provoke basically war on ethnic and sectarian lines, either in Iran or throughout the region. Nevertheless, they did manage, Western ruling class and their Zionist allies did manage to succeed in partial isolation of this region, right? Which already creates a lot of problems for this world, including in energy sector. And that's exactly what globalists wanted, right? Because they are forcing China already to increase its energy dependence on the Russian Federation significantly. And I already shared with you information, dear friends, that since the beginning of this year, while last year China was dropping its energy imports from Russia compared to previous year, this year China is increasing its energy imports from Russian Federation, including import of oil, by the way, 20 to 30%. That's the number that already is known, from 20 to 30% increase, which is a big increase, by the way, And I said many times before that Western ruling class wants to force China to increase its dependence on the Russian energy sector up to freaking critical level, because looks like Western elites are quite sure that they have strong enough fifth columns, strong enough assets and influential enough assets in both in Russia and China, so that when China will be dependent on Russian energy imports critically, they will create tensions using these fifth columns in both countries. They will create tensions between the two, maybe in 5 years from now, maybe in 7 years from now. God knows what is the schedule that Western ruling class has in their plans. But in that case, they might do it, man. Technically, this is doable. And they clearly have assets in both countries, by the way. If Western ruling class and Israel demonstrated anything in past, not just years, but decades, and in case of European ruling class, even centuries, that is, they can infiltrate, man. They are quite good in infiltrating and corrupting societies and their political elites, political, military, and so on elites, right? They are good at it, unfortunately. And I'm afraid they have quite a powerful fifth columns in both in Russia and China. And if they manage to succeed in their strategy, and if they succeed to force China to increase its dependence on Russian energy up to a critical level in next 3 to 5 years, then would not be surprised at all if they will activate big time their fifth columns and creating tensions between Moscow and Beijing, so much so that eventually they might put fear in Chinese leadership that Moscow is about to turn its back on China, which will mean death to Chinese economy, which will be by then extremely dependent on Russian energy. And that fear then will be used by Western elites to push China towards taking some military actions to secure closest energy fields that are there. And it so happened that these closest energy fields are in Russia, by the way, in Central Asian republics, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, but first and foremost in Russia. That's how they want Western ruling elites, Western ruling class wants to get rid of two major obstacles that they are facing in terms of cementing their forever domination in this world. They want to create tensions between Russia and China and eventually provoke confrontation between their two, and basically let them destroy each other, which will destroy entire global south, maybe even entire freaking world. But Western ruling class don't care about it. all they want is to cement their dominance over the world, right? And so, when it comes to Middle East, by the way, when it comes to Middle East, I said, man, there is a slight chance, little chance, maybe that Trump will find courage in himself and will say no uh, to globalist neocons and their Zionist allies, and will pull out U.S. from this war while agreeing with Iran, while reaching with Iran some agreements to de-escalate. But chances that he will actually do this is next to none, right? Very little, very little. And that's why we are now seeing these kind of situations when Trump says one thing publicly, and then U.S. militaries are going and doing something very different, right? Who is calling the shots in U.S.? That's question. Everybody should ask, man. Everybody. And there are also a few more news. Difference. Yesterday there was a final of European League, Champions League, in football, soccer, as it called in the US. I don't know. Australians call football soccer too, and New Zealanders. But in Europe, in the rest of the world, not just in Europe, in the rest of the world, we call it football, right? And so Paris Saint-Germain won this final, right? And there was riots, by the way, big riots in France, in Paris. I guess that's where this game was taking place. No. I don't know where game was taking place, but there were riots in France, including in Paris, by the way, right? 416 fans were detained during their unrest following Paris Saint-Germain's victory in the Champions League final. They beat Arsenal, by the way, British, English, from English Premier League. Arsenal, Le Figaro reports, citing Interior Minister Laurent Nunez. And yes, that's quite a strange thing, by the way. I'm going to show you a video. Man. What the hell is wrong with these people, man? If they are fans of this French team that win the game, they should celebrate, man. They went after city infrastructure and began destroying everything. What the hell is wrong with these people, man? Honestly, I'm going to show you a video. Look. So, I mean, if that is a celebration, by the way, then what's happening when these people are upset about something? This is crazy, isn't it? This is truly crazy stuff there. But yeah, I mean, that's what they did there. And that's about it, by the way, when it comes to our news segment. Let's have a community chat. I will join chat now. Let me check first. Let me check Rumble for super chat, and there is a super chats, by the way. So if I may, I will react on the super chats, and then I will go through chat. Let me just copy, dear friends, this super chats As I said, I will react. Alisa, stop. That's artificial intelligence, by the way. Yeah. Не выключай, дочь. Нормально. Come on, man. It takes just a minute, dear friends. News segment is finalized. At some point, maybe I will go through some latest updates. I will refresh some pages during the stream. But right now, I want to respond to some super chats on Rumble. Viper, thank you very much for gift cards on Rumble. I see 2 gift cards from. I see 2 gift cards from Viper. That's how it looks. That's gift cards, by the way. Each gift card is a $5 donation to this project, and you can then use these gift cards to give premium subscription to any member you like. So thank you very much, Viper, for your gift cards. And let me react on super chats. This is our first 2 super chats from Scooby. Thank you very much, Scooby, for your super chats and donations through Rumble. And Scooby is commenting, have you read Rand Corporation report extending Russia 2019 yet? No, maybe some fragments, maybe, but if I read the whole thing, I will remember. Some parts probably, but whole deal, I think no. Also, and by the way, I'm a bit skeptical about this Rand Corporation and about these Western think tanks, because I don't believe Western ruling class will make it public what their plans are. I know Brian Borletic from New Atlas is very much focused on these documents that are published by either Western think tanks or are linked to USAID or whatever other elements that they were using to infiltrate and influence other countries. But I think it will be a mistake to take these documents, public documents, by the way. That again, this is a public document. This is not something that was classified. No, it's a public document. So I don't think Western ruling class will ever allow publicly to be published whatever plans they have, actually, right? So therefore, I'm a bit skeptical about these Western think tanks and their documents. But even in my programs, I have reported about, for example, Rand Corporation and some of their studies on quite a few occasions. Also, Scooby is commenting, their strategy is to extend Russia, not get into the big war with it. They use every means to scare you into thinking they are going to attack while making the response as economically costly as possible. And well, they're not going to scare us, Scooby. I mean, you need to know Russian people, and to know Russian people, you have to live in Russia or you have to be from Soviet Union, right? Because in many ways, our mentality are quite same, quite similar. Peoples that are from different Soviet republics, including Russia, of course. And I will say there is not a possibility that anybody gonna scare Russian people. It's not possible. 1, 2, 3, 5 people somewhere might get scared, of course, but in general terms, I don't think it is doable to scare Russian people. It's just not working like that, right? You're not gonna scare Russian people with a war, for example, because people's reaction will be, yeah, well, if war is coming, then let's fucking fight. No one gonna be happy about war, but if it's coming, then we have to do what we have to do. That's a fatalist attitude, by the way. And I have said many times before that we are fatalists, right? By our mindset, that's what we are, majority of us, right? If something going to happen, it will happen, right? It will happen no matter what. So therefore, there is no point to be fearful, to scare too much, right? Be cautious, but there is no point to scare about something that is inevitable. So yet again, as I said, man, this Rand Corporation is a bunch of freaking nobodies, right? They are coming up some general statements. So if they are working actually on some serious stuff, that would be classified. But if something is out there for everybody to see, I would not take that seriously. When it comes to, I mean, your comment here, you mentioned that they use every means to scare you into thinking that they are going to attack. They are attacking already. Scooby, this is also a very important thing to know. Everybody here in Russia, literally everybody, I mean, vast majority, knows that we are targeted by NATO member states. We are targeted by NATO member states. We know this, right? So they're not going to scare us with this because it's already happening, and it's happening for a fifth year now, at least, right? So, when it comes to extend Russia's economical capabilities, to basically keep Russia down while creating numerous problems all around, including through this creation of the Bolsheviks, Ukraine, well, I mean, it's also done, right? They are doing it also. It's just factual. It's happening. So we don't really need Rand Corporation to acknowledge what we see with our own eyes, right? So it's already happening, and unfortunately, if we continue this current restraint policy, and if we did not deter Western ruling class, unfortunately, damage that will be done to Russian Federation might become unsustainable. Might become just too much, right? That might create some serious problems inside the country, economical problems, problems inside the society itself, right? So we don't have an option but to restore deterrence. And that's why I was upset, by the way, when Russian president in Astana said that Russia never had the plans and does not have a plan to do anything against her. And he was talking about these European NATO member states, right, that are targeting Russian Federation. If that's what it is, he did not have to say anything. That's the point, isn't it? He did not have to say anything. But that will leave room, I think, for a probability that maybe he will actually greenlight Russian military and security services to actually do something about these European NATO member states that are engaged in this war against us. But he made the comment, right? He said that we have no plans to do anything. And that will, of course, greatly encourage Western elites to even more escalate with Russia, to go even more crazy. I don't know, man. And eventually, yes, unfortunately, we will face some very serious challenges as a country and as a society, because Western elites will not stop. If there is nobody left in Ukraine to sacrifice, they will go after. They will begin sacrificing other countries from other former Soviet republics or some of the NATO member states. Why would they care? Why would globalists care? So we have to restore deterrent, but I'm afraid Russian leadership is not there yet. And that's too bad, man, because you know what I have said earlier, isn't it? When Russian Foreign Ministry when Russian Foreign Ministry made a statement with warnings that foreign citizens and diplomatic mission should evacuate from Kiev and stuff like that. I said straight away that I don't think there will be something like extraordinary done by Russian, green lighted by Russian president until St. Petersburg's economical forum will be finalized, and St. Petersburg's economical forum will take place from 3rd to 6th of June, right? After that, maybe my understanding was, at least my reading on the big picture, that after St. Petersburg's economical forum, Russian president would green light Russian militaries to take some action, right? And not just on a Kiev-controlled territory, but against European NATO member states, because targeting only Kiev-controlled territory does not bring the results that we all want, which is to stop this, for example, which is to stop these long-range attacks on Russian Federation, on Russian civilians, on Russian civilian infrastructure. Correct? But when I hear, and I was searching for that press conference, by the way, and I watched it to make sure that he actually said that we have no plans to do anything hostile towards Europe. He said this, right? And that is too bad, man. I was thinking after St. Petersburg's economical forum, Russian security service militaries will receive green light, and before end of summer, we will restore the terrain. That's what I was thinking, but now I'm not sure about it. Now I'm not sure about it, that Russian president will authorize some serious actions to be taken against NATO member states. I wonder what calculations in Kremlin are, and after all, in late September there are going to be parliamentary elections, and how Putin thinks he's going to maintain majority in the parliament. I mean, people are so angry, man. He's still most popular politician, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Vladimir Putin is still most popular politician in Russia, 100%, right? There is no one is really even close. This is true, but nevertheless, man, people are angry. People are angry with this restraint policy. People want enemies to be punished, and if we would not restore the deterrent until end of summer, as I was hoping and predicting, then I think Russian president and his party, I mean, Единая Россия party. I'm not sure Putin is a member of that party, but Единая Россия is in full support of president, right? So I think Vladimir Putin and Единая Россия are for a big surprise. They are for big surprise late September, when parliamentary election is going to take place, man. They will struggle to get 10, 15, 20% of votes, I think. My personal opinion. Dear friends, also there was super chats, two more super chats from Scooby. Let me highlight these two. Thank you very much, Scooby, once again for your super chats and their $8 donation through this 4 super chats. Scooby is also commenting, this is why the Baltic Barker and why Germany build their outdated tanks instead of effective military buildup. This is why they threaten strikes on Kaliningrad. They are scaring Russia to overextend it. Example, they use cheap drones to attack unprotected aircraft within Russia recently. This is the context of an economy that has no slack and already devotes 7.5% of GDP to military Yet again, Scooby, I think partially I did reacted on your comments, and uh, I think we might overextend our economical financial capabilities. In some ways, we I think already doing this. In some ways, although as you rightfully noted there, only 7.5% or about 7-8% of Russian GDP is right now kind of diverted on military on defense matters, right? Which is definitely not an indicator that Russian economy is fully on a war footing. It's not the case, right? War footing will mean about half of economy is on focused on war, right? But it's not the case. But but yet again, we have to restore deterrent. This current situation is not sustainable, right? Current situation is not sustainable. We have to restore deterrent. And the only way we can do this is to take action against NATO member states that are engaged in this war against Russia. I mean, that's how it is. It's just objective reality. No matter who will agree with this or disagree, this is just objective reality. We have to restore deterrent. Otherwise, at some point, and to restore deterrent, now we can do it. We can try to do this at least with conventional weaponry, with conventional means. Otherwise, if we do not take action now, in 6 months from today, approximately, in near future, we might end up in such a situation when conventional means would not even be this topic of discussion. The end topic of discussion will be straight up nuclear strikes, right? Either we will go and do things now with the conventional means, we will try to do so, or later we will have to deploy nukes. So that's the only choice we actually have, in my personal opinion, right? So that's how it is, I think. And well, I don't know. I'm very disappointed, by the way. I'm very disappointed with that press conference of Russian president and his statements. But yet again, I mean, who knows, man? He might change his mind. I'm still hopeful that during this summertime, he will authorize Russian security services and militaries to restore deterrent, to do whatever is necessary to restore deterrent with NATO member states. Otherwise, we are in for a much bigger trouble than we are facing right now. One don't have to be genius to understand this, man, right? And that's what I think. Thank you very much, Scooby, once again. Thank you very much. And let me scroll. I mean, I will check. Let me remind you, dear friends, that if you like my work and if you can and want to support, you can do it through several means. You can subscribe to my Patreon page, for example, and support monthly. Subscription on my Patreon starts from $5, sir. You can choose there your level of support. There is a page also for subscription on a Boosty platform, although Boosty you can also use to donate, to tip, basically, this project. I checked right now, and well, no new members on Patreon, unfortunately, and also nothing through Boosty. And so, okay, I will scroll now, dear friends. I can drop in a YouTube chat link to my Rumble channel once again. In case you have account, dear friends, subscribe on my Rumble. You never know when YouTube will delete my channel. So therefore, Rumble might become a good reserve mean of communication. And I will scroll now. I just spotted a comment from Nidish here. Nidish Kumar is commenting, Levan, I think we have to call in Security Council for the Congo. It's spreading rapidly to all adjacent countries now. Nidish is talking about a spread of Ebola virus. I don't know, experts are making statements that there is no threat of pandemic, global level pandemic. Experts are not even indicating that this virus is going to spread throughout the Africa continent. Probably they think they're going to contain the situation, but you never know, Nidish. I mean, I agree with you that definitely more attention needs to be paid to these developments. Of course, I'm not a virologist, and I have no freaking idea what is the best solution here. Russian experts are saying that there is no threat of spread of Ebola here in Russia, anyways. But and Russian medics, Russian doctors are on the ground in the Democratic Republic of Congo and are assisting to contain this outbreak of Ebola. Hopefully, situation will be dealt with with the minimal casualties among people. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely a topic that deserves our attention. And you know, isn't it, that there are rumors, by the way, some conspiracies on internet that say this Ebola virus might not actually be created by nature, as also some conspiracies are saying that AIDS virus is also like artificial, right? Not something that nature created. But you never know. I have no freaking idea, really. I will scroll now, dear friends, through chatter, and you know, if I see capital Q or capital letters, of course, that will make it easier to spot question or their commentary. So let's go. And time to time, I will check. Rumble and other platforms for questions or comments. I remind you, this is fundraising stream, sort of. So if you were happy with my work past week, and if you can, please consider to support my work for the next week. And let's go through some chat now. I spotted this question. True Gambiter is commenting, Levan, in the US, they are building data centers like crazy. Is that also happening in Russia? Is this necessary for these drone wars? Is it destroying our country's water and air? We don't really have such a extensive boom in terms of AI development and their data centers. And data centers are, of course, used for AIs first and foremost, right? Of course, Russia is investing in AI technology, data centers being built, but nothing even close to what's going on in US. And I'm not quite sure they actually need so much data centers, by the way. But this is a bubble which constantly needs more and more investments. Otherwise, it will burst, and it will take down US financial market. Right, so therefore they are in this spiral now, from which they don't know how to get out. So that's why in US they are building these data centers. In many cases, data centers are not even used, but they are built, right? And it is extremely power consuming, right? To cool down so many these devices, right, that they use for these data centers to cool it down, man. It takes a lot of energy, and it's a noisy, it's a freaking noisy stuff, man. I have seen some videos from US actually, when people were living in a rural area, nature, wonderful nature, wonderful everything, and then this data center is built in a mile away, and noise is coming from the freaking mile. It's just too bad. It has to be built there in totally isolated areas, by the way. But looks like in US they don't really care much about it. Also, there was a super chat right now, dear friends. There was a super chat right now on. So that's my take on that. Here in Russia, we are not going that crazy about these data centers and AIs. There are some investments, and by the way, here in Russia, we have a lot of places, right, where these data centers can be built, and there it will not disturb nobody, right? I mean, Russia is, US is big too, but Russia is bigger, and Russia is not as urbanized as US, right? So there is a lot of places east of Ural Mountains. There is a lot of places where humans probably never step or feet ever. So there's a lot of opportunities for these data centers to be built there without being noticed by anybody. And there also, it's a permafrost, right? In taiga, by the way, in northern latitudes, there are permafrost, which is a natural cooling system, one might argue. So that will be used too. Of course, that will help her. Let me now highlight, dear friends, donation and the commentary through PayPal. Thank you very much, Luca, for your $10 donation through PayPal and the commentary. And Luke is commenting, Levant, please stop advocating for nuclear strikes. Russia has proven it has conventional escalation dominance with its missiles, or any nuclear attack invites a retaliation and collective planetary suicide. And I don't advocate for nukes. Look. What I was saying is either we now will try to restore deterrent with conventional weaponry, or in near future we might end up in even worse situation when nukes will be deployed, right? I'm not saying we should deploy nukes now. No, not at all. All I'm saying is we have to restore deterrent. Otherwise, globalists will not stop. They will continue to escalate, and at some point, we might face a reality when every single day, 1,000, 2,000 drones are launched to strike deep into Russian territory. And if now, every single day, 5 to 10 Russian citizens are killed, civilians, when Kiev regime and its NATO backers will launch 1,000, 2,000 drones, casualty numbers among civilians might reach 50, 100 people every single day, maybe more. Because one should understand that only so many aerial targets can be intercepted with their Russian air defense forces, right? They are best in the world, but there is certain limits, right? What these air defense forces can do. And the only way we can avoid this dramatic deterioration of the situation is to restore deterrent right now. Strikes on Kiev-controlled territory not going to restore deterrent with European NATO member states or with NATO countries, generally speaking. We have to bring the war to their territory. We have to bring the heat to them, to the Western elites, right? Otherwise, they would not even think about reconsidering their strategies. They would not. That's what I'm talking about. And I believe we can restore deterrent with the conventional means, right? Absolutely. A green light is needed. All is needed is a green light from Russian president to Russian security services and the militaries, and they will take care of the situation. And they will restore shortly. They will restore deterrent with Europe in matter of, shortly, in matter of month. Maybe two. If it comes to exchange of long-range strikes between the sides, it might. If we retaliate, let's say on UK, by the way, on Germany, on Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, France, Italy, all the countries that are involved in this war against Russian Federation, if we strike now with the conventional weapons, globalists might say, you know what, let's strike on Russia now, also with the conventional weapon. There might be tit for tat exchange, right? But I don't think in terms of long-range strikes, Europe is capable of standing. European elites are capable of maintaining their ground, because I can imagine societies in all over the Europe beginning to wake up very rapidly when they actually began realizing that well, you cannot just go and kill Russian citizens with impunity. They will strike back. Once this realization will settle into European societies, probably they will start acting on that, right? And they're calling on their political leaders to de-escalate. There is no good options, look. Let's be real. There is, unfortunately, the situation is so bad that there is no good options now. There is only two options left. Either we're going to restore deterrent now with the conventional means, or we will have to restore deterrent with non-conventional means in a relatively short time, because the situation will get even worse than it is now. That's what I think, unfortunately. And majority of people here in Russia probably will not just understand what am I talking about, but will agree with me, because that's just too obvious. Thank you very much, Luke, once again. And in no circumstances I'm calling for nukes to be deployed. And no, nukes are just last resort, I guess, right? And it's not Russia that has a first strike strategy. It's the US that has a first strike strategy. So until attacked by nukes, I don't think Russian president will deploy nukes, only in retaliation for a nuclear attack. Or if there is undoubted, 100% information that France or UK or US are planning to launch nuclear weapons. In that case, maybe Russian president will not wait until those nukes are launched and will authorize Russian first strike. Maybe. But officially, it's only US that has a first strike doctrine. We don't. Once again, thank you very much, Luke, for your donation and the commentary. And please, dear friends, keep in mind that English is not my first word, and sometimes I might be very bad in expressing my opinions, right? My vocabulary is not as good as I would like it to be, and therefore sometimes I might use a language, I might use words that are not necessarily the ones that will explain properly what I want to say, right? Because I'm thinking in Russian, for example. I'm translating from Russian, probably automatically. It happens automatically, right? Either I'm thinking in Georgian or in Russian, for example. I'm going to translate this into English, and my knowledge, unfortunately, of this language is not as good as I would like. So sometimes I might say some stuff with the wrong words. and it might cause some confusion, and my apologies for that, but it's a language issue, by the way. I mean, hopefully my English will become good, better than it is right now, but it will take time, of course. So Viper, once again, thank you very much for a gift card. Thank you very much for a gift card to member of our community. Viper is a bigger supporter also of this project from Rumble, by the way, from Rumble community. And I will continue scrolling now, dear friends, again. And if I notice capital letters or capital Qs, that will probably. You can use, as I said, dear friends, all the links of support platforms that you can use is in the description box under this video. Maybe we will have new members in the Patreon community. I will check every now and then. Not for now, but maybe towards the end of the stream we will have new members. In order this project to be in a safe place, our community on Patreon needs to double. We have there's 137 members in our Patreon community right now, people that are monthly subscribers. And we need to go bigger, but it's not that easy, man. Many thanks, of course, to everybody who supports and who supported and supports and will continue to support her. And I see Michael Kennedy's commentary. I spot this. Even Lebanon has developed its own fiber optic drones. Yes, Hezbollah is giving her a hard time to IDF forces. They are targeting IDF forces not just in southern Lebanon, but also they are going after Israeli forces inside Israel also. And when it comes to developments in regards to this morning I saw reports that Israeli forces crossed the Litani River and are now occupying territories on the other bank of the river. This is, of course, our next step of escalation from Israeli side. This will make Lebanese people even more determined to fight. I think this will bring even more fighters into Hezbollah. And I'm saying Hezbollah because Lebanese armed forces is a freaking joke. I mean, it's non-existent, really, right? How these people can call themselves Lebanese militaries? I don't know. Do they have any dignity or decency? Can you imagine Lebanon is being destroyed, occupied, and so-called Lebanese army is not engaged with their enemy? How that is possible? How they call themselves Lebanese army, man, Lebanese military? So it's a Hezbollah, by the way, and several other groups that are fighting, mostly Hezbollah, of course, mostly Hezbollah. And it is a wrong understanding to think that Hezbollah is a strictly Shiite militia. There are Christians in Hezbollah, there are Sunni Muslims in Hezbollah, there are atheists, by the way, in Hezbollah. These are resistance movements created as a result of Israeli occupation, right? And they still to nowadays are fighting Israeli occupation. I'm scrolling now. If I spot some capital Qs or capital letters, I see this commenter from the Dishkumar Levan. I think we secured the BrahMos order from Vietnam. I think so too. Nidish, thank you for sharing information. I also read about this contacts between Vietnamese side and India, and I believe our contract is being finalized. So India will sell BrahMos hypersonic missiles to Vietnam. And these missiles, dear friends, for members of our community who did not know what we are talking about, BrahMos is, I believe, it's a hypersonic cruise missile, isn't it? Developed together by Russia and India. Extremely capable, very good missile system that can be launched from ground, can be launched from naval assets, can be launched from air, by the way. Su-30s can launch BrahMos missiles, for example. And India has like 250, 260 Su-30s, lot of Su-30s, by the way. Most of them are produced under the Russian license inside India. So probably India has more Su-30s than Russian Air Force. So thank you, Nidish, for sharing. Oh, it's so good to see, dear friends. 47 members of our community are watching, join this stream on Rumble. Truly happy, man, to see this number. And there are 183 members are joining their stream on YouTube. Thank you very much to all of you, dear friends. I will drop once again in the chat my link to my Rumble channel. In case you have an account there, please subscribe. Because as I said, you never know. I mean, YouTube might take down my channel any day, really. And Rumble, Boosty, and Patreon will be the main lines of communication, plus my Telegram channel, of course. Also, Nidish is commenting, Levon, did you get details on Russian-Afghan defense deal? No, no details were reported in the media, by the way, and therefore, because no much details were reported, Western propaganda pushed this crazy narrative that Afghans gonna fight now in the zone of special military operation. Kabul will send tens of thousands of citizens of Afghanistan to fight. Nonsense, right? Nonsense. But I mean, as it was said many times before by me and by many others, Russian government historically is extremely bad when it comes to public relations. Extremely bad. Sometimes it feels like Russian leadership don't even care about public relations, right? That's how bad we are in PR, by the way. And because there is a lack of information, more often than not, we are facing then such results when Western propaganda, Western ruling class, which is very good in the public relations, in the propaganda, in PR and propaganda, they are using lack of information from Moscow as a chance for them to push yet another false narrative on top of another false narrative and another false narrative. And probably you also heard about this nonsense that tens of thousands of Afghans gonna fight now, go to special military operations zone. Not happening, man. Not happening. But yet again, no details. No details. Just agreement about military and about cooperation in military and military and security terms. And I think India will be happy with this information, especially because of the tense relationships between Islamabad and Kabul. I see question from Sashimi Kuder. Isn't it time for Russia to declare war? Economy, why are private companies being subcontracted to buy air def systems in Moscow for buildings protection? Kremlin's message, you are on your own. No, no, I know what you mean, dear friends. A few days ago, videos began circulating on internet when Mi-26 helicopter is sort kind of delivering air defense, allegedly air defense system on a roof of one of the high-rise buildings here in Russia, and speculations, because we are very bad in public relations, straight away speculations began that well, now these companies, all the companies and businesses are on their own, right? They've been given right to buy defense, air defense systems, and they have to protect themselves. This is not their case, right? I don't know when that footage was taken with Mi-26 delivering air defense system. I don't know if it's AI generated system or not, right? This is also something that we should always keep in mind. Decision of Russian leadership to allow companies to invest in air defense is first and foremost related to industrial areas, industrial zones, right? Bigger manufacturing plants, big oil refineries, and that kind of stuff, right? They can invest in air defense, and it does not mean that this company will be in charge of this air defense system. That means that Russian militaries will allocate certain forces to protect this enterprise, because of course it's costly enterprise, isn't it? So if companies are willing to finance, then defense ministry will find the means to protect certain areas, right? If these companies pay for that. Otherwise, Russian defense ministry will prioritize directions that they think is necessary to protect first and foremost. But yet again, Western propaganda pushed the narrative that, well, you see, all the businesses now are gonna try to protect themselves with their own air defenses, and they're gonna be speaking air defense systems all over their rooftops of Moscow or St. Petersburg. No. If militaries decided that for better protection, for better cover, additional air defense systems are necessary in certain areas, including on the rooftops, they will do it, right? But if militaries decided, so that's what is going on. I saw that video, by the way, that I was thinking, okay, there was too much noise and I did not really pay much attention to it, because I mean, really, what is the big deal there? What is the big deal? It is unfortunate that we are facing these long-range attacks. That's the big deal, obviously. But presence of air defense systems in the city limits is not really something extraordinary. When you are facing aerial threats, of course, you deploy whatever is necessary to protect people, right? There was also a super chat, dear friends, from Scooby on Rumble. Let me highlight this. Thank you very much, Scooby, again, for your super chat on Rumble and $2 donation. Scooby is commenting, would Russian population even tolerate shifting resources from welfare to military and conscription of war economy? Well, as I said, Scooby, people will tolerate anything that will help Russian militaries and will bring a final victory closer. One should keep in mind that majority of people here in Russia went through 90s. And if you did not live through 90s, it is basically, I think, impossible to understand what we mean when we mention 90s, right? Compared to 90s Russia, modern Russia is from different universe. That's how great the difference is, right? Between economies, between quality of life, between everything. In 90s, Russia was on the brink of collapse, as all the other former Soviet republics, by the way, right? Now Russia is, one of the top economies in the world by PPP index in the top 5, which is quite something, really, isn't it? And when it comes to price that society will willing to pay to defend the country and to defend their people, future generations, well, there is a song, by the way, from Soviet era that for victory we will not stop. I mean, za cenou не постоим. That means we will price will not scare us. We will pay whatever price is necessary for a victory, right? So if we're gonna go full mobilization in terms of economy, okay, that's what we're gonna do then. If we're gonna go for actual military mobilization, then okay, that's what we're gonna do then. And I have said many times before, by the way, that if it comes to mobilization, if I'm drafted, I'm not gonna run away, man. I'm gonna go and try my best, even though I have no military experience, no knowledge how to do some war, but I'll try my best, right? There will be some training probably. If I pass medical exams, and during the mobilization, probably I will. If I try to join Russian armed forces now, probably I'll be rejected. But if it's mobilization, then demands are probably loosened, right? So if it's a mobilization and I'm being called there, I'm gonna go, man, and try my best. I will explain medical situation, and it's very important stuff because your comrades have to rely on you, right? And if for medical issues, you might not be ready to take action every other day, man, or at least for a couple of hours because you are dealing with some medical issue. That's too bad, right? That's too bad. But yet again, man, that's my take. If I'm mobilized, I'm gonna do whatever I can, right? And the vast majority of people here in Russia will be on the same page, probably. Whoever wanted to run from Russia, they already run away, right? Mostly these so-called liberals and these totally brainwashed people by the Western propaganda. So whoever is remaining in Russia, vast majority is absolutely ready to do whatever is necessary. All we need, by the way, is absolute guarantees that Russian leadership will do whatever is necessary, right? Before demanding from your fellow citizen to risk their lives. When you are president of the Russian Federation or defense minister or other high-ranking official, you yourself have to prove to people that you are on the same page with the people, right? And hopefully Kremlin understands this. There have to be no doubts in the leadership, right? Especially during the war times. And people are angry here in Russia. People are angry because question being raised why we why we still are exercising this restraint policy. I mean, to put it like simply, that's the question that everybody has. What are we doing? And because the Russian government historically is extremely bad in public relations, seems like they don't really bother to explain anything to public, right? Peskov did come out a couple of times and said that they're not going to comment on certain issues. They don't. Easy for, while not commenting on something, will neutralize the questions. No, even more questions will rise. So, society is ready, man. Society here in Russia is locked and ready for whatever. Vast majority, myself included. The question is leadership is ready to do whatever it takes. Because if they are ready, then what President's statement means from 2 days ago when he was in Astana, that Russia has no plans to do anything in regards to this extremely hostile European NATO member states. What he meant by this? I mean, don't we even considering retaliation? How are we going to deal with the situation then? Honestly, man, there is no other way, right? These drones and missiles that are launched against Russia, for example, are produced in the West, right? And it's not just the weapons that are produced in the West, in Europe, for example, but also flight path, targeting data, intelligence, everything comes from the West. It's Western countries that are killing our citizens. European countries, right? It's a very tragic and very sad that we are in this situation, but we are, and it's not us that started this. Let's never forget that it was a Western ruling class that orchestrated that coup d'etat in 2014, right? It's them that attacked Russia. So, Scooby, in the Western propaganda means you might read anything, you might hear anything, but in reality, here in Russia, by the way, society is absolutely locked and ready for anything, literally, by the way. We will do whatever it takes, right? We're gonna be, we're gonna do everything possible to make sure that our grandparents and their generation gonna be proud of us, right? That's our mindset. And so people are ready. Question is what leadership is willing, what kind of risks leadership is willing to take, right? And I don't know, because I don't know what is going on in Putin's mind. And he is a president. Russia is a presidential republic. President has enormous powers, right? And it's up to him. Thank you very much, Scooby, once again for your super chatter and donations. And let me scroll through chatter. Dear friends, as I said already, if you can use support platforms to send your question or commentary that you want to highlight, please do so. If that option is not feasible, then please use capital letters in the chat, or capital Q at least. Capital Q will do also, so that I will spot easier your question or the commentary that you want to be highlighted. Just to understand that this is directed to me, by the way. It just makes it easier, because I'm scrolling fast, and with small letters, I might just miss it. You see, it's easy to spot comments from Nidish Kumar because it's just capital letters. Nidish Kumar is also commenting, Levan, I think there are a lot of antisocial elements waiting for this time every year after Champions League to cause trouble. Nidish is commenting on this devastation that happened in French cities, especially in Paris, due to victory of Paris Saint-Germain. Yes, I mean, there are some antisocial elements, obviously, in every country. Percentage might be different, but antisocial elements are in every country that are using them, that are waiting for the moment to go berserk, right? To go total crazy. But for whatever reason, these antisocial elements are just way too much in Europe, right? Just way too much, man. They're regularly burning down, destroying their streets, cities, property of other people, state property and property of their fellow citizens. This is nonsense. This is crazy, right? Cannot be and should not be tolerated. And everybody that committed crimes yesterday in Paris should be put in jail for, I don't know, man, another like 10 freaking years. And once you jail, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 such idiots and criminals, actually, they are criminals, man. Maybe others will act a little differently. But if you're going to tolerate this nonsense, then of course these antisocial elements will never stop, and maybe more idiots will join them, right? So they should be taken out from their society. Antisocial elements should be isolated. Period, man. I don't think this is something extraordinary. If they want to be part of society, they should behave as a civilized human beings. If they cannot, then let them live in freaking jail in that case. I think I already answered to this question from Ikeri Rinful. The one are there are many data centers being built in Russia at the moment. There are investments, by the way. I mean, it's not as crazy. This is not a topic of discussion here in Russia. That's what I mean. Of course, data centers being built, but if in the West, especially in US, these data centers are becoming talking point. I mean, people are just talking about it on a day-to-day basis because these data centers are being built just in tremendous numbers, right? And in many cases, not in some isolated area, but in places where people are living actually, right? And so, and that causes certain issues. Energy prices is going up, right? And whenever you have these data freaking centers in a place, probably property value is dropping significantly because of the noise and everything else. So in US, this is something that everybody, maybe not everybody, but many are talking about. Here in Russia, no, this is not something that people really care that much. Although, of course, there is a significant investments in the AI infrastructure, and when it comes to digitization, by the way, Russia is, I think Russia is among leading countries. And of course, this digitization comes with a price, which is a lot of data centers had to be built, and they've been built, but in a more adequate manner than in US. That's different. We just do things more adequately. That's how it is. If we need data centers, we build it. But in US, this is a bubble. All this AI story is a bubble, isn't it? And they constantly have to prove more money in it, right? Otherwise, this bubble will burst. And it will burst at one point, by the way. This is a scam, basically. And at some point, this bubble will burst, and God knows how many tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, probably from ordinary households, will lose whatever $10,000 or $20,000 or whatever they have invested in this bubble, in these AI companies. Big investors, multi-billionaires, they're not gonna care because they are filthy rich anyways, right? But once this bubble will burst, these ordinary households that are investing in these exchange markets or that are investing in the Nasdaq and freaking S&P 500, these ordinary households that gonna lose their investments, right? Let's there was a super chat, dear friends, on let me remind you that you can use the super chat feature on Rumble to highlight any commentary, as Scooby does, dear friends, and supports this project and my work greatly. Thank you very much, Scooby. And there was another super chatter. Let me read it for you. So Scooby is commenting once again. Thank you, Scooby, for your support and the super chat on Rumble. And Scooby is commenting comparative advantages. Russia should focus on data centers while China focus on the chips and the AI. Makes sense. I mean, I have talk about, I mean, we should build chips too. We do build chips, Bob. Maybe our chip manufacturing is not as advanced as in Taiwan or in US or in China, but we do build our chips. You know, we have our own chip production. So we should invest in chip production also. At the same time, of course, we should use our advantages that we have, natural advantages, which is thermofrost. All these data centers, they are generating immense volume of heat. They need tremendous power, electricity. They need tremendous volumes of electricity, and also they generate unbelievable volumes of heat. And you have to disperse this heat somewhere, isn't it? And well, thermofrost is a good place to start, I think, right? Because it's freaking ground is frozen for tens of meters. Summer, winter doesn't matter. It's always frozen, right? It's always minus temperature. So if you build some data centers in such environments, in summer, in Taiga, by the way, when there is a thermofrost, in summer it's hot there. Temperature rises quite big, right? And during the summertime, of course, energy consumption for cooling will be higher, but during the winter, it will cost almost nothing because you just can disperse this heat through ventilation out there in open, right? It's minus 50 outside. When there is minus 50 outside, of course, you're going to use this to cool down the system, right? You don't even just open their freaking shafts, for example, and let this cold air come into the building, right? Infrastructure. And you know how hot air works, isn't it? Hot air always tries to go up to escape. And so you just have to open the gates, let's say, let the cool air came in and hot air will escape straight away. It would not need much assistance from you, right? Nature will do the thing. So we do have competitive advantages. Of course, we should use that, obviously. And China has its own advantages, of course. And if we manage to cooperate, definitely we can. I think we are in among leading countries when it comes to data centers, AI development, and stuff. But digitization. But of course, combined effort of China and Russia, or Russia and its allies, let's say partners, of course, will bring more results faster. So I agree with you absolutely. And by the way, topic of AI was one of the main topics of discussion in Kazakhstan, in Astana, during their summit of Eurasian Economical Union. And Russian president spoke about it. So we pay attention to this matter. We just aren't going as crazy about the subject as it's happening in the West, right? Especially in the US. By the way. In US, they created this tremendous bubble now that I think endangers US economy. Instead of helping US economy, I think this AI bubble is creating extreme dangers for US economy. Because when it will go burst, and that will bring down S&P 500, NASDAQ, and all that will bring down financial system of US, man, big. Martin Matter is commenting, Levan, they're not elites, they are the lates. Unfortunately, yes. I mean, they are not natural elites. This Western ruling class is not natural elites of the societies, obviously, right? Because the natural true elites are people that are distinguished with their achievements, with their humanity, with their kindness, with their knowledge and education and everything that we consider to be priceless, right? But these best human beings among our societies, not always being given opportunity to lead, right? In many cases, they might don't want even to lead, but because they are best of us, of course, one would prefer these best of us to be in a leading position. I would, of course, support this idea, and because this is right. But in reality, things are working a little differently, and that's why I'm always saying that when it comes to Western ruling class, based on all the information that we have, right, about their policies, about their actions, and so on, there are not a single decent human being there among actual Western ruling class. But I agree with you, Martin. They are not the natural elites of the Western world, because I'm quite sure in France, by the way, they're unbelievably, uncomparably better human beings in every possible way than French so-called elites are. But our system is built in such a way, either in France or in Germany or UK or US, system is built in such a corrupt way that these decent natural elites, these decent human beings are not even allowed to get closer to this system, right? It's just not happening. Unfortunate, but that's how it is. I mean, how can one say that, let's say, Marco Rubio or Donald Trump is a actual natural elite of the U.S. American society? No way, man. No way. Or Biden before them, right? Or Biden's administration, anybody from his administration. There was not a single decent human being, either there or in Trump's administration. So how can anybody say that those people are actual natural elites of America? No way. No way. Actual decent human beings in America, they have no chance to even get closer to actual decision making, I will say. Let me scroll. I see a question from Nidisha. Leon, does all SU-30 that Russia uses is fitted with their IACA radar or not? We are still using PESA. It's become outdated. Oh, I cannot know such details, Nidish, obviously. Probably. I mean, I just don't know. I guess all Russian SU-30s are equipped with their latest radars, but I cannot know for sure. You know, this is specifics that if you are not in the field, actually, you just not gonna know. And I'm not sure even if this information is publicly available. Maybe it's classified. So I don't know. I think they are equipped with these ASA radars because all Russian 4++ generation planes have advanced avionics, advanced fire control systems, and you need this only if you have a radar capable enough to provide you with multiple targets simultaneously, right? So, but yet again, how I cannot know for sure. Dear friends, I see I see some positive comments here, and I'm not highlighting when there is some kind words about myself. I'm too humble for that. for this, sir. But I'm noticing, and I'm thanking you for your kind words, dear friend, sir. Thank you. And Leah Triguat Dottir is commenting. My apologies if I'm not pronouncing your names correctly, dear friends. Question is: will the Ukrainian army run out of oil, gas, electricity in August or autumn? I don't know. I don't know. Yet again, it depends what kind of authorizations Russian militaries and security services will have. If they have a green light to take out all the energy infrastructure, grid included, or if they, I mean, it all depends, right? Technically speaking, Russian military and security services can accomplish any task that they've been given. But question is, will they receive the green light? So I don't know. So therefore, I mean, it's hard to tell. It all depends really on the leadership, what kind of authorizations they will give and orders. Also, Ikarin Full is commenting, data centers in the US West in general are for surveillance state. You can argue that this is the case. Same time, data centers are used there for AI, of course. That's the big deal now, these AI developments. But when it comes to surveillance, yes, I mean, only way you can avoid surveillance nowadays is if you get rid of all the gadgets, literally all the gadgets that are connected with online, with the internet, and if you go live somewhere in a forest. That's the only way you can actually avoid surveillance. Otherwise, sir, I mean, phones, notebooks, anything that is even freaking vacuum cleaner, by the way, that connected with the internet can be used to gather information about you. So that's the time that we are living in, and I don't think there is an actual escape from this, right? As I said, I mean, recently we had a conversation. Scooby initiated the conversation, and eventually, you know, I came to a conclusion that yes, I mean, if capitalism is left unchecked, eventually capitalism will transform into neoliberal fascism, right? And neoliberal fascism demands surveillance state, demands total control. Fascism, in generally speaking, demands total control, right? And that's the direction that Western countries clearly are heading. Clearly, I mean, 100%. Not there's nothing to even discuss there, right? Western countries already are basically in that fascist state when when everything is combined now, military-industrial complex, propaganda, political system, everything, right? And people in the West are not realizing what is happening. Significant portion of the societies are not realizing what is happening because they still being fed with this bullshit about democracy and elections and human rights, and they actually believe that they have any of it, right? Either human rights or the democracy or the elections and stuff like that, while they don't. And recently you saw it in Romania, isn't it? That when candidate that was supported by majority was stripped of victory, and then there was a character assassination, isn't it? And the globalists retake full control over the Romania. But yet again, until troubles will knock on the door of this majority, this passive majority, they would not really pay much attention to what is going on, and trouble will knock to their doors, man. Trouble will knock to their doors. It's just a matter of time. But when that will happen, it just will be too late. Too late. It is already too late, man. I think. Because I'm afraid Western societies, protest movement in Western societies have been hijacked with these so-called alternative parties, through these so-called alternative parties, by the way. I mean, that's what is happening in UK. Farage's reform, UK is total fraud, right? It's run by very same shadow forces that run Labour's or the Conservatives or the New Labours, by the way, for that matter. I'm afraid in France there is the same situation. These alternatives from Le Pen party or whatever being created to basically manage, right, keep society in a deception, right, and to manage direction on this society. And I'm afraid there is a high chances that in Germany AfD is the same stuff. I'm afraid there. You might disagree with me, dear friends, but I'm afraid that's what is happening. And well, I guess I'm scrolling, dear friends, and I didn't spot capital Qs. I think we had a good conversation, isn't it? What you say? I think we had a good conversation. I see Nidish's comment early on. Why is Middle Eastern he is so against her and aggressive towards UAE, and it is operated from the UK. It Muslim Brotherhood or Saudi behind it. EYE. What is the EYE, Nidish? When it comes to UAE, by the way, UAE is in trouble because I mean, they are acting too openly on behalf of Israel and the US or Western ruling class, right? And they are confronting not just Iran, but Saudi Arabia, right? And there, at some point, I think UAE leadership overestimated their own importance, their own capabilities. They get engaged in too many proxy wars in Africa, even in Middle East, right? And they've been overstretched. And because of their active involvement in regional affairs in different parts of this world, they have a lot of enemies now. And Saudi Arabia is among those enemies. And well, I think Saudi Arabia and Iran will tear apart UAE soon. UAE is finished. UAE is finished, and you know. And when it comes to is it some sort of a media company, EYE? Probably, if it's operated from UK. And by the way, when you mention Muslim Brotherhood, the major driving force in the Muslim Brotherhood is, one might argue, Turkey. Muslim Brotherhood is, of course, powerful in Egypt also, not as much as in Turkey. One might argue Erdogan represents, in some sense, and his government, Muslim Brotherhood, and they are fighting. They are fighting not just they are fighting Salafists, by the way, right? Muslim Brotherhood is engaged in a fight with Salafists, and UAE and Saudi Arabia, they are Salafists. They are Sunni Muslims, but they are Salafists, right? Or Wahhabites, as they called also. So I don't think there is some religious element in the confrontation, or sectarian element in the confrontation between UAE and Saudi Arabia. It's a political. It's political. UAE just went too far in their games, probably because they had too much money. They did not know what to do with it, right? They invested heavy in different regions, and in many cases they end up being in opposite side of major regional countries in the Middle East, first and foremost Saudi Arabia, and Riyadh not gonna forgive them that. They forced UAE to run away from Yemen, by the way, right? It was quite humiliating, I guess, for Abu Dhabi. But yeah. And now I think they cross the line in such ways that, not just with Iran, by the way, but first and foremost with Saudi Arabia, in such a way that they are finished. There is no way Riyadh gonna forgive them. They will decimate. They will not decimate UAE. They will finish UAE, right? They will support separatists in the UAE, and it will break. It's a 7 emirates, right, that created UAE. So it will get split. Some parts might maintain the name of UAE, maybe, but others will either go full independent or join Saudi Arabia. And some parts of UAE will end up under Iranian control. I think this is a highly probable scenario. But yet again, I mean, I can talk about troubles of UAE long, but I don't know what EYE is. Probably some sort of media, isn't it? UAE was targeting Iran, by the way, from the beginning of Israeli-US war, and UAE was used to target Saudi Arabia. You think Riyadh gonna forgive them that? No way. Lydia Trigra daughter is commenting, Levon, do you think that Europe will run out of oil, gas, electricity, and Ukraine army will be in a bad situation? Well, Kiev regime's forces already are in a better, dire situation, actually, I will argue. And the only reason they are managing to hold on to some certain positions on line of contact is because of these overwhelming numbers of the drones, right? Still, Russian troops are advancing, but advance is significantly slowed down because of these enormous quantities of drones in the air, that and most of which is coming from the NATO member states, from Europe primarily, and so Kiev regime sources are in extremely bad shape anyways, right? And it's only a matter of time before they will collapse. When it comes to Europe and energy security in Europe, they're not going to run out of oil products. Um, there might be some shortages, little shortages, by the way, price hikes, price hikes. But I don't think Europe gonna truly run out of energy, either gasoline or natural gas or electricity. I don't think there is a real risks of that. What will happen is little shortages will occur probably, and there will be significant increase in the price. When it comes to natural gas, it's a little tricky because it very much depends on weather conditions during the next winter. If winter is mild, then gas consumptions will be lower, and therefore underground gas storage facilities will manage to keep up with demand. If winter is long and very severe, that might be the issue, right? That might create a situation when gas storage facilities are running out of gas, and uh, and that will hit, of course, industries big time. They will always have a gas for people, brother. Let's don't get me wrong. There will always be enough gas to supply population. Price might be higher, but I don't think they're gonna run out of gas supply or electricity supply to people. But we should also understand that major consumers of the gas and electricity are businesses, right? They might face some issues, right? Because even further hike in prices will force additional hundreds and thousands of companies to go bankrupt. So that's the biggest issue that Europe will face. But people, ordinary people, maximum risk for ordinary people is increasing prices, which is already happening, isn't it? But if anyone says that Europe will have no gas to supply ordinary households, no, I don't think this is true, man. They already have in underground storage facility enough gas, for example, to supply civilians. Question is, will they be able to fill underground storage facilities enough to supply economy also? That's the question. And last time I checked numbers, underground gas storage facilities were full for about 30%. So they're going to pump a lot of gas in these facilities, rather, to get prepared for winter. And well, it's only like 4 months, isn't it? And the winter season begins. Tomorrow is 1st of June. So 4 months when there is a nice warm weather, mostly. But from October, it's a winter season again, right? So, of course, increase is happening on the consumption of electricity and gas. From then and to April, late April. But ordinary people, they're not going to face no gas shortages or electricity shortages, in my personal opinion. If countries are managed properly and supply chains are managed properly, then most definitely major issue in terms of energy that European households will face is price tag, and unfortunately prices are increasing, isn't it? And there are many households are spending around 20% on energy, which is 15-20%, which is a lot. And I don't know, maybe in some cases even more is going for all sorts of communal expenses, right? Probably in different EU member states, it's a different situation in this regard. And different prices too, I guess. There was a super chat, dear friends, on Rumble. Let me highlight her. Let me highlight difference. Super chat. Sometimes, I click to do something and the notebook says no. Oh, interesting. Just a sec, dear friends. I will highlight this super chat uh, from Rumble. So thank you very much, Dwayne Cook, for your super chat and the $5 donation on Rumble. And Dwayne is commenting. New Zealand is definitely turning into a surveillance state. We are going to put GPS tracking system on our cars to charge motorists the petrol charger, and we'll know exactly where we been. I think in your cars already there is a GPS trackers. When you use map, how you use map? I mean, if you use it, of course. I think in modern cars there is numerous tracking devices, numerous devices that are providing authorities with or the companies, private businesses that are cooperating with the government, numerous opportunities to track the vehicle at any given point, right? And I guess some additional measures are planned to introduce to New Zealand, which is truly unfortunate because this is a New Zealand we are talking about. I don't know, man. I always had this maybe naive take that New Zealand is a sort of paradise on this planet. It's a wonderful nature, by the way. Weather is more or less mild, cool, right? It's a good weather. Not extremely populated, so there is a lot of places that not extremely urbanized there. But as time goes by, unfortunately, there are more and more indicators that this globalist, yet again, globalist controlled governments, either in New Zealand or in Australia, by the way, are doing some crazy stuff that force locals to question the direction that their countries are heading. This is unfortunate, man. Truly. But yet again, people not being asked, isn't it? People not being asked about any of it. They just imitate conversation on the matter, discussion, while decision already been made, isn't it? And they will just go ahead and implement that decision. That's how it is. So yes, neoliberal fascism is already a reality, I think. And situation in this regard will only go worse. It cannot get better. So thank you very much, Dwayne, for sharing and for your support and super chat on Rumble. Thank you. And let me scroll chat. Oh, I see question. Number 6, sir, thank you very much for your commentary question. And thanks, Levan, for what? Number 6 is commenting, Russian elder statesmen remember how USSR was able to send warnings to enemies during the Cold War. Whatever they do, it will never be reported in their news. Yes, I mean, of course, there are some means to send some warnings, messages, but we will learn about it if behavior, if those warnings being sent and are effective, we will learn about it probably by change in the behavior of Western ruling class. Unfortunately, as of now, we are not observing such change, and it's exactly opposite is happening. these European NATO member states are actually bragging publicly, bragging about being involved in this war and how they are providing these facilities to build more drones and these facilities to build some equipment for missiles and this is crazy, right? But that's where we are. If some messages, some warnings are being sent and delivered effectively, and the Western ruling class will realize that they have to think about their next step very carefully, then probably we will notice that in the policies, right? We will see. We will see. I still think there is a probability that this summer Russian president will authorize deterrent to be restored. Probably he will greenlight Russian military and security services to restore deterrent with their NATO member states, with the European NATO member states, to be more precise. But I cannot be sure about it, of course, right? This is just a guess. I think there is a probability that before end of this summer, deterrent will be restored. But we just have to wait and see. And it is necessary. It is necessary deterrent to be restored because, unfortunately, trajectory is just too bad, right? Because we are on an escalatory spiral here. And as of now, it's only West that is constantly, continuously escalates, right? And at some point, we might end up in a situation when some warning shots not gonna cut it, and something more drastic needs to be done. And that's quite a scary prospect, isn't it? But yet again, it's not Russia that is pushing on this trajectory. It's a Western ruling class that is pushing towards this negative, unfortunate outcome for whole world. Because, of course, all good people in this world would love to see actual de-escalation right now. But globalists are not about that. Globalists are not about de-escalation and not about peace. That's a good question. Martin Mayer is asking Levana, how longer do you think Merz government lasts in Germany? I honestly don't know. I cannot know. I know he is extremely unpopular. I know Merz is extremely unpopular, but does it matters really? How popular or unpopular he is? Okay, Merz will be, let's say his party decided that this guy is just too unpopular, and for party's sake, it is better to replace him with someone else, with someone more popular. But will it actually have an effect on economy of the country? No, not really, because policies will stay the same. Policies will stay the same. So therefore, fundamentally, I mean, practically speaking, it does not really matter who is the chancellor in Germany, Merz or someone else from his party. It just literally makes no difference, right? We will just say another name while commenting on the policies of Germany. Policy is going to stay the same, right? So therefore, I don't know. Will Merz resign because of his low ratings, or will his party decides that, yeah, they had enough of this guy and they're going to replace him with someone else? They can do it if they want to. Like, I don't know, anytime, but fundamentally, I don't think this changes anything, really. It's going to be same it's going to be a person whoever going to replace, for example, Mertz, let's say in next before end of this year, theoretically speaking, right? Whoever going to replace him, that someone also will be this ideologically driven psycho who prioritizes anything but actual interests of the German people. So Merz, Birds, it does not really matter, I think. But obviously, I cannot know how long his government will last because parliamentary elections were just recently, isn't it? So technically speaking, Merz might stay in office for another several years, right? Until next elections. He is so unpopular that I doubt he will last for another several years. But when he gonna be replaced, you know, who knows? Nidish Kumar is commenting on, did you watch Captain America Winter Soldier movie? I think that's our future. Probably I watched it. Probably, but I don't remember nothing. These are not the movie that you really pay much attention to, these superhero movies that Hollywood is producing nowadays. I'm quite sure I have watched it. Winter Soldier is when Captain America and his body are fighting Nazi Germans, something like that, isn't it? Probably that's the movie that you are referring to, or no? I don't know. I can't remember. But what I do know is that if this naked capitalism is not being checked, if multinational corporations continue to gain more and more power, well, world is destined for world gonna turn into freaking surveillance state, actually, fascist surveillance state, whole freaking world. Some countries earlier, some countries late, but eventually, if capitalism is left unchecked, that's what this rush for profit does, man. It will force it initiates, right, this rush for more and more profits, incentivizes, right, powerful elements to go for total control, and that's what is happening. Okay, Nidish is commenting on EYE, Middle Eastern. EYE is a Muslim Brotherhood math piece, along with Al Jazeera, operates from UK. It's a news outlet. So I guessed it correctly. Thank you for explaining, Nidish. And when it comes to Muslim Brotherhood, they are engaged in a confrontation with their Salafites, anyways, right? It's just it is what it is. That's why Turkey and Saudi Arabia are quite hostile towards each other. Not just because of it, but that also plays the role. But when it comes to Saudi UAE relationships or UAE itself, I think UAE is finished. They talk too much on themselves, local elites, and they will pay their price now for that. They were, you know, I think UAE is finished. Honestly, I think UAE is finished. It's not gonna survive as a country. UAE not gonna survive. It's gonna get separated, disintegrated, big time, and then quite shortly. They left OPEC, by the way. They were targeting Iran and they were targeting UAE, by the way. Right? Reports are that they were targeting Saudi Arabia. They're on behalf of US and Israel together with them. Also, UAE is building special relationships with Israel that threatens, in addition to everything else, also threatens Saudi Arabia and the rest of the region, really. And I don't think Riyadh can tolerate this. They are on the same peninsula, by the way. I mean, compared to Saudi Arabia, UAE is not really a force. Saudis are much more capable by all measures, and I think Riyadh will seek cooperation, behind the closed door cooperation with Oman and with Iran, to make sure that UAE not gonna survive for much longer. They're gonna take that entity out. I don't mean they're going to be military aggression necessarily, but they will support some separatist movements. As I said, there is at least 7 emirates, isn't it? That are 7 or 9, and the heads of these emirates are kind of kings there, isn't it? And there are separatist tendencies among some local emirs, right? And yeah, Saudi will support that. Oman will support that, and Iran will support it. So UAE is finished. Maybe Abu Dhabi does not realize this, but they are finished, man. It is what it is. Mr. Fantastic is commenting the US and its minions are attacking nuclear power plant in Russia like they did it in Iran. They are testing the water. Next strike on Russia with tactical nuke, label Ukrainian. Well, I said many times before that I think one of the ways how Western ruling class plans to escalate with Russia is a transformation of Kiev regime into a nuclear armed regime, and I think such an announcement from Kiev that now they got nukes, they build nukes domestically. Such an announcement can come anytime. London might authorize this transformation of Kiev regime into a nuclear armed regime at any given point. This is a serious threat. I agree with you. I'm not sure they will go as far as to actually take a nuclear strike on Russia, because that's just that will be too suicidal. Although when it comes to Western ruling class, at this point, one should expect probably anything. But nuclear strike on Russia probably is just, just really too much. I don't think they will go for that, but I think they will try to further escalate this nuclear blackmail against Russian Federation, and alongside attacks on nuclear power plants, they might actually authorize Zelensky's regime to go public and say that they have nuclear weapons now. And I'm quite sure British, American, and French militaries and scientists already build nuclear weapons based on radioactive materials from Ukraine. And even though I think such nuclear devices are under strict control of US and British, possibly French secret services and militaries, I think there is a high probability that those devices already are on a Kiev-controlled territory. And I said nuclear devices built on the materials from based on radioactive materials from Ukraine, because these radioactive materials can be traced. If there is an explosion, let's say, scientists can trace back. Somehow, physicists know how to do this. They can trace back this nuclear source for this explosion to their particular reactor where this nuclear element was produced, right? Scientists can do this, physicists, according to what I have read about it. So therefore, I think American, British, possibly French secret services, militaries, with cooperation of their physicists, already with cooperation with their military industrial complex, because they are producing nukes, isn't it? These are nuclear countries. I think they already created maybe several dozen nuclear devices, and some of them probably already being transferred to Kiev controlled territory under the strict control. Yet again, I don't think they're gonna give control over these nukes to Kiev regime. I don't think they are that crazy, but I think devices are there, and maybe one of the reasons why Moscow continues to exercise this restraint policy is threat, or this nuclear blackmail, possible nuclear blackmail from the Western ruling class, that they might, they might use Kiev regime for nuclear attacks on Russia. Maybe, I don't know, obviously, but I think there is a probability of these nukes being built for to disguise as Ukrainian nukes, and there is a scenario possibility that the Western ruling class might make it public any day that Kiev regime is now a nuclear armed regime. I think this is a realistic probability. Viper is commenting, are you going to get a moderator for Rumble chatter? I recommend Mickey. What you say, Mickey? Viper, don't you want to be moderator? If you know, please write me on a mail. Mickey, don't you want Mickey or Scooby or Viper? If you are okay with moderating, then I'm more than happy to switch moderation to you. So please write to me on a mail so that I will know for sure. And I'm good with with all of you, Scooby, Mickey, Viper. I can make you all three of you moderators. Unfortunately, I cannot pay, guys, right? So therefore, I cannot ask nobody to be moderator. But if you can, and dear friends on YouTube, in YouTube, if anybody thinks they can moderate chatter from veterans, I'm more than happy to switch that moderation to you. So thank you, Viper. And there was a okay, by the way, there was a super chat, dear friends, on Rumble right now. Let me highlight, if I may. Thank you very much, Viper, for your super chat and the $10 donation on Rumble. And Viper is commenting, we want Mickey as a Rumble moderator. We voted on it. Okay. Okay, by the way, straight after this live stream, let me, not after live stream. Mickey, are you okay with the moderation? I'm checking now chat on in Rumble. Mickey, you okay, isn't it? With the moderation. So I can. Oh yes. Okay. Okay. I think it will take a second. Let me remember how it's done, by the way, and I will switch moderation to you right now. I just have to remember how it's done. Account settings, probably moderation. Okay. Moderators. And I have to put name. Okay, nickname. Let me copy. Just a sec, dear friends. My apologies. Так вот. Right. Add moderator. Okay. You are moderator, Mickey. You are moderator now. So, well, thank you very much once again, Viper, for an idea. As you know, John is busy. He recently wrote that he would not be able to be active member in the community for at least another 6 months. So we need moderator, and Mickey is our moderator now on Rumble, and I can do it on YouTube too, if you want to. You should get moderations rights. I don't know how should I say. Anyways, I guess we resolve this situation quickly. So thank you very much, dear friends, for this, and many thanks, Viper, for initiative and super chat and donation. Thank you. And Smoky Sally is commenting, Merz, Macron, Stammer, Trump, Ursula, so many hated idiots, and I'm 100% on the same page with you, Smoky Sally. None of them, these European ones, their ratings are crushed, right? And Trump's rating is crushing too. Maybe he still has a higher support than any of these guys, right? Merz, Macron, Stammer, or Ursula. But Trump's ratings are also crashing big time because of this Iran war and because of the Epstein files and because of the many things. Seems like America First people are very much not happy with their administration. Oh, it's 3 hours, dear friends. It's already 3 hours, of this stream. Also, Mr. Fantastic is commenting. You want to remember the knuckle draggers in the West are not rational. They have no reverse gear, and so far putting speeches and their history lessons is not their way to restore the deterrent. Don't put anything past crazy. Well, I agree with you that they have no Western ruling class. They have no reverse gear, no brakes, and that's why I'm saying, unfortunately, we are in such situation when we don't really have much options left, right? We have to restore deterrent, and the only way to restore this deterrent is to bring some heat to this Western ruling class, and it's up to Russian president now. Will we take action or not? I mean, either way, it's his responsibility, isn't it? We can comment or we can agree or disagree, but ultimately, this kind of stuff is of course priority is of Russian president decision making on that, and yeah, we will see what he gonna do about it. But you know, ultimately, it's his decisions, of course. Dear friends, you can do the same on YouTube in YouTube chat too. If you want her, I don't know how should it done. Just what about her? Any of you as a moderator or something like that, and we can have a new moderator in YouTube also. You see, I'm absolutely open for ideas. You see, Viper recommended, and we deal with the situation literally in 5 minutes. So, dear friends, I think that's about it. That's about it for today. Thank you all for your time, for your attention this Sunday. I wish you a wonderful day. Many thanks to everybody who supported and continues to support her. Of course, many thanks to members of our community for donations that project received today, for super chats, and uh, and Michael Kennedy is commenting right now. Sally should be moderator, and I support this idea. Smoky Sally, well, if you're okay with moderating, why not? So, and by the way, I mean, Scooby, Viper, maybe you also want to be moderators. You are active members in the chat. So just write to me, let me know, and let's do it. So, dear friends, thank you all once again. Have a wonderful day, and okay, I'm still reading chat, by the way. So thank you very much, dear friends. Have a wonderful day. Take care, and many thanks for your time and attention, for your support. Take care, and see you tomorrow. Bye.